Hello and welcome back to Sisterly Sparks. I'm Orange Spark.
Purple Spark.
And I'm Pink Spark.
And today we are talking about interpersonal communication. So before we dive into that, we have to do our mental health check-in. So how are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just pushing through the week, trying to push through this sickness and keep on going. The week has been busy. I feel like the month is flying by. So that's how I'm doing.
Is it me? I'm all right. I'm here. Um, I'm a lot better than last week. I can talk. I can see. Y'all can see my pupils. Mentally, I'm okay. I guess. Um, I've been great except for today. All of a sudden, I don't know what it is. I don't know what feeling it is, but I'm just blah. I guess. Mm, not angry, not mad, not happy, not sad. Just so we'll see how this goes.
Okay. Well, I'm good. Um, yeah, I'm in good spirits tonight. Been working like crazy. Y'all, it's freezing in my room. So that's what that is. um, but yeah, I've been doing good. It was a rough week last week, but very proud that I got through it. And I'm glad it's over. And um, I don't know. I'm excited for 2025. So yeah, I'm feeling good, doing good. Tonight's a good night.
Great, glad to hear it. Like to
Yes.
see that smile right there. That's what we need to see every day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
Looks good on you.
you.
So,
Thank
dude, gotta
you.
wear them out often.
Thanks. Okay. So, talking about interpersonal communication. So, last week we touched on interpersonal and intrapersonal and what the difference is between the two. Intrapersonal is more of your internal dialogue with yourself. Um, yeah, your inner voice, and how you speak to yourself. And interpersonal communication is more external. So you have this with the people around you, whether that be family, friends, coworkers, bosses, etc., partners, significant others. Yeah, all of those. So, interpersonal communication is the process of exchanging information, feelings, and ideas between two or more people. It can be verbal or nonverbal and often involves face to face interaction. So, I don't know about y'all, but I definitely talk with my face. And I don't feel like I'm one with, like, I'm big on like major facial expressions. Like, I can't do the crazy stuff, but I feel like my facial expressions come through when you got me messed up. So even if I don't say you got me messed up, my face tells you that you have me messed up. So I gotta work on that. But
Definitely can contest to that. I feel like it's getting a little bit better, but it depends on the person or the subject at hand. I feel like I do it when I'm caught off guard. because I like to go into conversations prepared. Um, Honestly, I had that conversation with that person in my head several different ways, several different scenarios. So I like to go into a conversation prepared so that I can have. I want to like feel like I'm like defending myself, but also have like an answer to a response. But I also like learn to be okay with not having an answer right then and there. Like sometimes I have to tell people like, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I have a lot of feelings towards it, especially in a professional sense. I'm trying to work on it more personally. Tell people like my emotions are too high right now. I don't know really how to like talk it out or put it into words. So can we put a pin in it and pick this back up? But a lot of people like to just hash it out right then and there. And I learned like sometimes that's not always necessary. So you got to read the room, read the person, the situation to know like, okay, am I going to come out with an ending from this, or is it going to be something that's going to be kind of like quote unquote dragged on in a sense? And then kind of work from there. But I think nonverbal is a lot of things. People can look at your nonverbal communication more than what you're saying, and it's like they don't care about what you said. It's how you were positioned, your stance. Were you standing up, sitting down? If you were sitting down, were you leaning forward with your hands over your legs, or were you leaning back? Because I noticed like when I feel threatened, I do that. And I had to have conversations with people, and they stated that. And it was like, I don't see that I'm doing it, of course, because I'm in the moment, but people pay attention to that, and I pay attention to it too. It's just different, realizing like, oh, okay, so you're reading me too. Like I can't be the only one who can read somebody. Like other people can do that too. And so it's like it made me really like to learn about myself, how I show up in certain situations, and kind of take it from there and learn how to do better in the next situation. So that means trials have to come in order for me to put it into action. So that's my stance on it.
I don't care what it is. My face is gonna tell it. So it's really hard being mean because on one hand, where I internally try and get myself to a space of trying to convey the right message or putting myself in a space of um just not being a certain way, but just I guess well maybe presenting myself a certain way to certain people or whatever, but sometimes I fight with myself and sometimes I feel like I make I make how I am and how I talk and how I communicate and how I treat people seem so easy, but it's hard because I feel like on one hand I'm a contradiction too because on one hand I feel like I'm really good at maybe some parts of communication, but on another hand, however, I feel like I'm not, and only because, like I've said in um, previous episodes, I don't trust nobody or nothing. So sometimes, and even though I talk, however, I also know I'm not gonna mention out loud anything I don't want anybody to know or repeat. So whatever I'm saying, I don't care about people knowing. I don't care about people hearing or any of that. So if but like the most vulnerable parts of me, the things about me could that I know that if someone had that in their hands to handle, and if I know that they can potentially make me feel some type of way affecting whatever that is, I don't let that be known to people because one, I just know me. Like and I know since I'm so emotional and so um soft, I guess. So emotional, I guess, over emotional. Like I know how I would take it. So I don't allow anybody to handle certain parts of me or certain things about me because I don't want to get into that situation of me having to show a horrible side of me all the time because I don't want to because I don't want that to be who I am, or I don't want that to be who people say that I am, or give a people a reason to point fingers or to say mean things and whatever. So I really do always try to come right, come correct, but people are people, and sometimes I don't mesh with a lot, and people be really like testing. They test the waters out there.
And be so bothered. Because
And
how dare you be in your own area, in your own space, and minding your business?
what are you? Yeah, you. Okay. That yeah. So in those instances, I have I have dialogue in my head. I do. Um so the dialogue in my head is gonna show on my face exactly how it's happening inside, because and sometimes I know I don't need to say everything that I'm thinking. I shouldn't at all, because I would be viewed as a horrible person. And I can admit it. I would. I have horrible thoughts about some stuff. I do. But I feel
Same.
like some I feel like sometimes it's warranted. Um and hell, even me maybe. People may be the same way about me with certain things. I'm human. Okay. I mean, I say whatever anybody say about me, I feel like you probably telling the truth. Everybody's gonna have their own experience of me, and it's just what you get is what you giving out is what I'm giving back to you. So one person can say I'm one way, another person can say I'm another way, and guess what? I'm all those ways. You're probably right. I'm not going. I'm not gonna argue with you or any of that. But my faith, I'm not gonna even say I try to I try to handle it or I try to control it. I don't want to control it. I'm already controlling my mouth. I'm not controlling. No. So that's the part that you want me to control. My facial. You don't gotta look at me. Look the other way. You don't gotta look at me. You don't.
That part.
So I'm dead serious. You don't have to look at me.
I have a question though. Is it
Yeah.
easy to accept that from other people? Like if they have the same similar communication styles, like if you have a communication or like conversation with someone and you realize, okay, you see some of your tendencies on them, and it's like coming
Yes.
back at you.
Yes, it's easy for me because and maybe because of how I grew up and like but also too like I just think you know what and it's funny because I see people and I see them doing like different expressions and stuff all the time, and I don't think nothing of it. I do you how but I do try to guess like what you talking about, what you thinking about, what you. And if I don't know what it is, if I can't interpret what that is, depending on the surroundings or the whatever, I may ask. If you don't tell me, okay, because I don't tell you everything. So all right, that's fine. But I'm weird like that. I like to guess, or I like to try and come up with what it could possibly be or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, yes, it's easy for me to I don't take offense to how people deal with or what people do or how people translate certain things because once again I try to what I do and how I interpret or how I look at things is how I think about other people doing the same thing. So it is easier for me to just let stuff be how it is until it personally affects me somehow or whatever, like it unless it does something like in a negative way to me or somebody, you know, related or involved with me, or you know what I mean, just close to me. Like other than that, I don't care. You do you. Like that's fine. You may have to think about some stuff, or you may be talking through your day, or you may be talking yourself out of cussing somebody out, or but you can sometimes though you can't sometimes you can tell what people are thinking or what they're whatever from their facial expressions, and I feel like that just comes with time for some people to realize and understand or to figure that out. Or and two, I feel like I come from nonverbal, so most of my life have been nonverbal, have been expressions, have been in my head conversations, in my head dialogue, have been just observing, have been watching other people in every kind of way. So, I mean, I would say, out of high school, when I first met my son's dad, is when I probably started like really talking, like really conversating, really. I didn't do, even in high school, I didn't really talk too much at all. Too much. I don't feel like. Um,
I
so
I know you can talk a lot,
yeah,
like a lot, yes. Yes. But I also still feel like you're a person of not many words,
I'm
which is
not.
She's
I don't.
strange.
choosy. You choosy with your words. You choose what you
And
say and when
actually,
you
I
say
don't
it.
like small talk. I hate that.
N-
Like it
Precisely.
drives me nuts. I don't want to small talk.
Yeah.
I
Precisely.
don't.
Like
Like
9 times out of 10, you're vibing out in silence. Like you
I
could be in the
can.
room and around people or whatever, but conversation ain't got to be in the air. Like it's just,
And
but when
I'm
you
okay
talk
with
about
that. I
something,
want other people not to be awkward or not to feel some type of way, because I absolutely don't feel no type of way. I'm okay with silence.
And
I'm
that's
perfectly
rare.
fine.
I got a lot of issues now with people in a sense they don't say it, but their body language says it and things like that. To where it's like I'm just more to myself. Like, of course I'll speak, but then I also keep it pushing. Like
But you
it
know
doesn't
what
have to
though?
be something deeper than what it is if it ain't meant to be that way.
Right. But I also like put out there, like, if other people have a problem with it, why don't you do the initiating or something? I don't have a problem. I'm okay. You the one with the problem. You're the one who feels some type of way about it. I don't understand what we got going on. I'm telling you there's nothing wrong. I'm telling you there's no issue, no problem. Like some of my brothers, they that way, some me and Rodney, we won't need no verbal, no none of that. My other brother, like if I don't communicate or say nothing, then it's a million questions. There's not why do something have to be wrong with me because I'm not talking? Why do something have to be wrong with me because I mean
Because you're a woman and you're a
it's
black woman, and it shows up in every area, even with family, whether they want to admit it or not. We have
and
to be
I'm
the ones to
tickled.
control the room.
No, but I feel like though people, this is where people need to understand and get to know people, get to know individuals themselves, because I myself am just fickle like that. Sometimes yes, like Cora said, I will go off. I will talk like for hours, hours on hours, hours on hours on hours on hours. I wouldn't you'll have to tell me to shut up. But sometimes I don't want to talk. And I'm not gonna feel compelled to talk if I don't want to talk. And I don't care who that affects. I don't care why you mad about it. I'm saying just take it for what it is. I'm saying exactly what it is. I don't want to talk. Or there's nothing wrong. And just take that. It's nothing wrong. I promise if anything is out of whatever, I will say it. I have no problem with saying anything to for any reason. So I don't know. So yeah, I just and then in high school, I just seen too much crap and I seen so much stuff going on. I didn't want to be involved. So I figured if I just kept to myself and was quiet, I didn't have to get involved in none of that or participate in none of that and stuff. And I did. And I had one friend while I was there, and that was it. Like the entire time of my high school life. That's it. I can't tell you what the principal's office looked like. I can't tell you who our principal was. I can't tell you what other teachers looked like, what the classrooms was. I can't tell you none of that. I could tell you my classroom on my way home, sleep, and back to the class. That's all I could tell you. I have a one track, like especially when I'm not like in tune with something or I'm not feeling something, but I have to do something or have to be somewhere or whatever. I do just what I need to do and I let that be that. I don't spend too much time on that. I don't get invested in in that stuff or none of that. I don't. So my high school kind of horrible. I just did it. And every day I just remember, and maybe because of too my like just my situation outside of the house maybe affected that too. But every day I just remember being like, I do not want to go to school. I do not want to go to school. And then I will have to get up really early. I would have to take buses and trains even just to get there. I would have to get up and get ready to go to school in the freaking cold. I freaking hate the cold. So I've always done stuff that I didn't want to do forever, it seems like. Just and it annoys me. So yeah, internally I say a lot of stuff. I say a lot of stuff. My face says a lot of stuff because I don't like to do what I don't want to do. And sometimes we have to do what we don't want to do sometimes because it's just required. So we have to put ourselves in a position of being okay with it in that moment or just getting through to to do or whatever. So but yeah, anyway, long story, yes, I'm okay with other people having the same type of mentality I have, and I will know it. And another problem is for me is I pick up on so much stuff. And sometimes, like, and initially, I used to tell people what I pick up on or what I see, and my problem was I was saying too much because I can't expect somebody to understand or believe what I'm saying because they're not me. They don't do or they don't see or they don't feel anything that I see, do or feel, so they can't. So I though was saying something to where I wanted people to believe what I'm saying or to believe that that was the truth. That's my truth. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm seeing. The next person is not me. So as bad as I may want somebody to feel or see or understand what I'm saying or what I'm feeling or seeing, if they don't want to, they just not going to do it. So you have to be okay with that too. It's a whole lot. I'm telling y'all, it's a whole bunch of I could just go on and on about just all every type of situation, every type of instance, every type of whatever. And the thoughts, none of them and even the many of conversations we didn't have. That's not everything really I even want to say. So just think about that, how long I talk. That's not everything. I just try to minimize it. and I try to personalize to who I'm talking to, but because it's just so much. I don't talk to nobody. If you think about it, I don't talk to nobody. So when I do talk, I talk because I've had so much bottled. I had so much wrapped up, and that's why sometimes what I would talk about wouldn't make sense sometimes because it's all wrapped up. It's all tangled up. It's just up there. I'm just it's just up there, and I don't spend the time to sort it out. I just blurt out whatever it is that's I was just probably relieved that it was being let out. Like God, like a balloon being deflated.
Hmm. I don't think nothing's wrong with it. I just thought it was interesting that like I really feel like you're a woman of few words.
Yeah, I don't have many words at all. I mean, I got opinions. I have I have thoughts. I have I mean, I got beliefs, all that. But I just feel like I just feel like sometimes when we just do like small talking or when we just be talking at the side of our necks or our head just because we want to fill space up or fill the room with something, like sometimes you could get yourself in trouble or sometimes you can find yourself in positions in spaces you don't want to be in.
That part.
You know what I
All
mean?
that
Like,
part. And it's not your authentic self.
right, and that's not me to be like, oh, so no, I want what I say to mean stuff. So when I do talk, it means something when I'm talking
We live in a
any and every
generation
time.
that's all
Huh?
they do is talk. I said we live in a generation now where that's all they do is talk. There's no substance, there's no weight, there's no meat. They just
Nothing.
talking. And then when I have the nerve to rebuttal what they said, I'm not saying you can't change your mind, but also what direction are
You
you
see this
going?
face? That's that's why I got a permanent right here. That's why this is like it is because I'm like that
That's
all
a
the
sign for
time.
them. You're full of it.
I be like, shut up, shut up. But then you really can't say that too much because freedom of speech. Like people say, there's no dumb questions. People say, you say whatever. But yes, it is. There is a such thing as dumb questions. I don't care. Debate me on it. I don't care. It is. And if I feel it is, I'm not answering it. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
Hey, you gotta let people think it out. Shoot, it started with my
Think about it.
child,
Right.
and then
You
it
answer
went to
it. What's
adults.
what's your answer to that question?
What do you think? I want to hear your perspective.
Right.
If you were to like,
Right.
how would you take on that? And then
I'll
have and it's
wait.
like, wow. Now was that hard? Just to think
I'll
it through.
wait.
Yeah.
You feel offended?
Yes, I do. Because I feel like I'm one that has, it's not even that I like, I'm sure I ask like dumb questions often, but I'm just not, I don't know what it is with my brain, but I don't make natural connections like most people do. Like,
I don't neither though.
no, hear me, y'all. It's something as simple as like me thinking, it's so embarrassing, but it's true.
I
Like,
can
I
contest,
genuinely.
and it's your truth. That ain't nothing wrong. It's your truth, girl. I'm right behind you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Number 11 support.
Well, thank you. Because, like, you know how TVs used to be black and white? I kid you not. I thought life was in black and white. Like, at no point did I make the connection that, like, the TV just didn't have color. I thought you walked outside and it was gray and black out there. Like, I thought your
I
house,
don't think that's
the
dumb. And I feel like
furniture.
at one point I felt that maybe in a
I
sense.
came to this
Because you
realization
see it all the
recently,
time.
You
probably
gotta
within the
hear.
past year.
Okay, there we go.
You know? So like I I genuinely like have these oh moments where like most people are like duh and I was like
I have them too. I'm trying
At
to.
no
I
point
think I
have I
feel like
like,
all of us have that at some point with something. It may be different instances or different scenarios or whatever that we have those aha moments, but I have them to this day. Like
you and me both.
But some people need that.
everyone,
But some people need that stuff explained, and it's nothing really wrong. It's just people don't like to take the time. People think that you just come to stuff on your own, and it's like you
people
gotta
want you to
explain
know
it.
what they know. And if you
Yeah,
don't know what they know, then oh my gosh, is something wrong? Or oh my gosh, how come you don't know this? Or but
Yeah.
if you know it, teach it.
and I think with Orange Spark,
Obviously,
it's
right?
just
You know it for a reason. And instead of you talking stuff about somebody, or instead of you uh boasting, or instead of you downing somebody because of what they don't know, teach them. Because how that look for you? You know
right.
something, but yet you over here ragging on somebody who don't know what it is that you know, and you just talking stuff because somebody don't know something. How do that make you look?
Crazy.
I wouldn't tell that to too many people. I wouldn't brag about that to too many people if I was you.
Period.
That don't make you look good. It make you look foolish.
And some people don't even know, but a lot of people too. They just need that reassurance. Like Orange
I
Spark,
don't like
you know
people
a
that
lot of
do
stuff.
that.
I think you need the reassurance. Like, is this correct? And most of the time, you be on it.
Right.
You just
Okay.
didn't think that it was.
Yeah, some people and sometimes it be your upbringing.
Hmm.
Maybe you weren't taught that.
Right, and you probably
Maybe
got in
you weren't privy
trouble
to that
or
shit, to that stuff.
for
You don't
asking
know.
questions. Like, come on now, you
True.
gotta explain stuff to people. You gotta explain stuff to kids. They're not just supposed to get it.
You
No
you know what?
facts.
You do. And
Facts.
I get in trouble a lot for that. But I feel like now, because I think back when I was little, and I used to get instruction, or I used to get told to do something or whatever. And I wanted to act. Now, I don't think I ever asked a question after a demand or command or something, but I wanted to though. But because I knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted, I just never did. But I feel like, why shouldn't we inform them of what it is? Like, if we're telling them something, especially if they don't know why it is that we're telling them something, why is it not okay to explain or to give a reason why?
It's for authority, for the culture. It's a dominance. It's a I'm in charge, you're a child, stay in a child's place because I said so. I don't have to explain myself to you. It's just a taught nature,
We
honestly.
do have to
It's not
explain
right.
ourselves.
It's not right. I don't
Oh,
agree.
other adults want us to explain ourselves. So if we gotta explain ourselves in what we're saying and demands and all that to grown people, why can't we do it for them? They're the ones who don't actually understand. All they know is we just giving commands and demands, and you just gotta do it. But why?
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, you know, like public school versus private school, and it tends to be like you know, the Caucasians tend to be in the private schools and the African Americans in the public school. And every now and then, if you get some African Americans with some money, they can go to private school. But the thing about it is, we talk all day about, you know, how greater the curriculum is in the private school, and not I mean, and it's not to say that that's not true. The curriculum definitely is better than public school, but the parents of the Caucasians have already laid the foundation for these kids because they talk to them like they're adults. They explain, their kids will say all day why, and they'll tell them. They will sit there and explain it to them, so their kids have a greater comprehension of life itself, why things happen, cause and effect, problem solving. Well, if I do this, this will happen. Oh, and when they say to somebody else, oh, don't do that, that'll hurt. Whether that's from their parent told them that, or their personal experience of being hurt and like, oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. I tried that. And that hurts. Like, I've noticed this. And a lot of it, I mean, it starts at home. If you go to if you're at home and you get the, stay in a child's place, I don't have to explain myself to you. And then you go to private school, these other children have a set of tools in their toolbox that you don't have and you can't purchase.
Yeah, it do start in the house. And if
It
you don't
does.
do nothing, if you don't say nothing, you don't have conversations, you don't have the dialogue, you don't go back and forth, you don't talk about different scenarios, about different life things, and then the kids get out there and then they mess up or they do something or whatever, and then we're on their coattails, but why? It's not like we instilled whatever. It ain't like we talked about whatever. It's not like we showed them whatever. You know what I mean? We just feel like they should know.
Yep.
We
Yep.
shouldn't know. And I'm saying that because I feel like that's how it was when I was growing up. I feel like all I remember, my mom was really big on school, but she also worked a lot. So when we seen her, we was in the books. We was in our work. We was cleaning up. If we didn't see her, she was at work. We didn't know nothing else. We didn't do nothing else. Nothing. Like we never had conversations about nothing. We never had talks about nothing, especially important stuff or worldly stuff or any of that. We never had sit downs. We never as a family did nothing like together too much. None of that. Everything I know, I've picked up. Everything, and I still don't know most stuff. And I'm not scared to say it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I just don't. So I learn literally every day as I go. And I do get offended when people like have their views about what I know and what I don't. You can kiss my ass. How about that? If you ain't into the to helping to elevate or whatever, don't come to me with nothing. Let me do me. You never know how somebody was raised or what they was instilled with or any of that. And you running your mouth or you running your chops or you feeling a certain type of way because somebody don't know something or know how to do something or nobody's where you are at a particular time. That's bull. So yeah, I be getting offended. So sometimes, yeah, I have I have to use my nonverbal up here a lot because I do understand that it could come from them not understanding. So I understand that. So I act a certain way and not act out or blurt out what it is that I really want to say just from somebody just saying something negative or something to me. Which is also why I like to always internalize or try and understand what the next person or where that next person could be coming from or where they're getting their opinion or their way of approaching something from. Even though it may not be what I agree with or whatever, I can see where that's coming from. So it makes me able to handle the situation better and differently than what I would have if I didn't know where that was coming from, if that makes sense.
Yes. So, interpersonal communication is important for building and maintaining relationships, both personally and professionally. It can help people connect with others, resolve conflicts, and create a positive environment. So, as some of you may know, when you're in a management position, when you are considered a boss, the boss, managing a group of people, Whoo! It is such a big challenge. You may be very good at your job and the duties that are required with the description of that job, but literally dealing with people, that was always my biggest challenge. It is no secret that I prefer like children interactions. Like I love the children. Adults are hard. I'd rather give me 50 kids than give me two adults, cuz babe, adults are just hard. But anywho, so I found myself working, I was the director, and I was talking to the owner, and she noticed my facial expressions, which we mentioned earlier. You know, you can do the body language, you can do the facial expressions and not even know you're doing it. So even though I wasn't saying to them, "You're an idiot, you need to get out of my face was saying it. And she taught me. I had to walk around for a while with my eyes raised like this, because she said it's more inviting, and it's you don't know. I see your face. It's the
I got so many questions. Because okay, let's just jump right into it. Is it your responsibility for someone to be offended by your facial expression? Just like Purple Spark said, I controlled my mouth. Ain't that enough?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so, because yes, your face, it could say it could say a whole lot. Cause why are you looking at me like that? Like, say you sitting somewhere vibing, chilling, and you look over and somebody looking at you like,
Yeah, I mean the old me was like, "Look, what's up? What you trying to do?" But
you
now,
know?
hey, if you gonna say something, say something.
I
Push it.
Did
mean,
you
true.
fart?
But that's your growth, you know, like, but yeah, like that it is when you have to deal with
Move from
people,
around me.
and especially in a professional setting, I think it is important to have your facials in line, because you're representing a
Well,
business.
I will say this because I've also been in management. I will once again though, and I say it all the time, you just have to get to know people. You have to, especially if you want to be in a management position or a high position, you have to want to get to know other people. You once again, you can't expect yourself out of everybody. And I think sometimes that's what people in higher positions feels like. Well, they do this, so you should be able to do this. Well, I could do this. Well, they should be able to do this. You're not really knowing. Do you know the people who work for you, or who's under you? Or you have to know them, and you have to know what they're good at, what they're not. Like, even if you don't want to know some of the stuff, too bad. Your position is putting you in a spot to have to know all that type of stuff. It's just like the same thing if you in school, and you have so many of the students, and you have to teach different ways, a couple different ways, because everybody's not going to get one way. It's the same stuff. It's the
Yes.
same stuff. Everybody is different. And unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of different people working together in one spot. It's not going to be all peaches and cream. So yes, you do have to be a certain type of person that actually manages, or that actually runs something, or that actually whatever, in because you can you can lose people, like good people, just by how you act, or how you manage, or how you whatever. Like your actions, you are right. Once again, me being contradictory, you are right. Yes, we should try and control the expressions, as far as being in like management positions or whatever, because they are looking to us. They are taking from what we see, what they see from us and all that. But at the same time, I feel like if you know your people, then you wouldn't get too much of the um mm, I'm trying to think of a word, something in front of facial expressions, because you can have subtle, more subtle, I don't know, maybe something like that. But I don't know. I just feel like it, I just feel like we just have to know what our positions are. We have to know what it is that we're choosing to do, and we have to know what all that entails. We have to know what all that comes with. We have to really want to take on that responsibility if we're gonna be put in there, and not just try to collect the check, or not just try to do, because you can tell the people that actually worked, and if they're actually loving what they do, or if they're just in it just for a dang, just for some cheese, some bread, some money. You could tell. You could clearly tell.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I feel like people is people. I don't care. I don't care what power or what position you have. You treat that next person like you want yourself treated. You talk to that next person like you want somebody to talk to you, because you feel like you have more authority, or you feel like you're over here, we over here. That's not a means for you to talk to me right here, and you up there. No, no. And I
Yeah.
feel like, for me personally, I had a problem with that in certain positions at certain jobs. No, first of all, I feel like I'm respectful until I'm disrespected. So, but I also feel like I follow what I need to. I don't like nobody hovering over me. So you could tell me what I need to do, and you could move around. You could go do what you need to do. I know what it is now that I need to do, so I make sure that I do it. Right? So I just feel like it you just I just feel like people is not intentional too much about anything ever. Anything. They nobody cares about nothing no more, like, at all. Everything is about a gimme everybody, it's all about a I want this, or I'm gonna take this, or I'm gonna have this, and no matter what I gotta do, no matter who I gotta step on, no matter whatever, I'm gonna get it. And nobody cares about the next person anymore. That's that's more aggravating than ever to me. Ever. Like that. That annoys me, like, to my core, to the core. Like,
Hmm.
who are you talking to?
Sometimes you
What?
gotta pop off and show them real quick. But and I think that's the humbling part, because I can be professional and
You
properly
are. I feel like
communicate.
you're way more professional than I am.
I can do it.
You
It's
can.
just hard, because then you get to wondering, like, is this job worth it? Is this
No,
person worth it? Like, certain individuals, like you said, you got to get to know them, and you can be nice and be nice and be nice, and you're met with this disrespect, rude. One of them was cussing at me, and it's just like, do I match your energy,
but
or do I
then
try to be?
it's another layer to that, though. And we may not want to deal with this layer, but you don't know what they could be going through on a day to day. And just like how when we was talking about in other episodes about how people, like, they project stuff.
Mhm.
It could
Mhm.
be that. Now, not saying that it's acceptable, not saying that
Right.
they should do it. However, I just know, for me, I think about all that. And
Right.
however, though, too, I also feel like, oh yeah, oh, I'm cool. I'm cool on it. Like, I don't feel like nothing's too much or too. I don't feel like anything's too. um
Sparkle.
whatever for me to stay in something that I don't feel comfortable or I don't feel safe or I don't feel wanted or needed or accepted or anything. I don't feel like nothing's that important for me. I
Right.
there's millions of jobs, there's millions of places, there's millions of whatever.
Hmm.
Like, and if you don't fit, especially if you're honestly trying, if you're honestly putting your best foot forth, if you're honestly doing everything that it is that you know that you need to do, and it's still not the surroundings and the space is still not what it should be, then that probably means that's not your setting. And that's okay. It's okay. But that's where you have to be true to yourself and you got to be true about stuff and you got to be honest. Like, are you really are you really doing what you need to do? Are you really trying? Are you really you know what I mean? Are you really trying to handle or meet whatever or whoever at certain points or whatever? And
Hmm.
if all those boxes is checked once again and it's still not, then shoot, I say move around.
Well, they ended up having to move around.
It
But
don't matter. Whoever.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like it, but it is. It's a. It's almost like a catch-22. It's just you never know, and some of it's intentional. Some of it is like they going through something, and they may circle back and apologize, or the behavior will change. But when it's consistent, I only got so much in me, and then I'm gonna just go the professional route of following procedure of writing you up before you have to be dismissed.
Pink Spark, have you had any issues in workplaces in those type of situations or had to or you felt like you wasn't able to handle a certain place or situation or something and whatever.
Yeah, I say that it has happened more in like a corporate position.
Mm-hmm.
It has been more difficult. Of course, in non-corporate positions, it had its own trade-offs, but it's
Mhm.
been more of a pressure for me. And with me, like being not in the corporate world for a little bit and then getting back into it, it was like a whole shock because I was like, I just can't shut down. I can't
Mm-hmm.
allow them to paint a picture that is not correct. And I'm not going to sit there, and go like battle to battle or tooth to tooth about it, but I can be responsible for my reactions and how I talk and how I handle situations. So now I think thoroughly about what I say or what I do before I do it because there's this picture painted already, and I don't want to give them ammo for it, whether um, their picture is coming from things that aren't particularly about me as an individual. It's more so about my color and my gender. So,
Mm-hmm.
with that, I take my moments. I definitely do, especially now on verbal. I think I have more of a choice on whether or not I show up like or written verbally, like emails and things like that. Like if I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's not something that I can execute in a professional way, I won't respond. I'll take a moment and then try to come at it in a face-to-face interaction. My sister's been in the corporate world for a long time. She's in banking, so she's been in it for 7 years. She's actually taught me a lot of how to be stern, stand up for yourself, and be professional. So people can't take that out of context or things like that. It's still a day-to-day struggle, especially when I feel like I'm being micromanaged because I'm definitely a person. I don't do everything right. However, I'm intentional about my work ethic.
Right.
Like especially in the professional world, despite if you don't like me or anything like that, whatever the case may be, you can't discredit my work ethic.
Right.
Even if I do something wrong, best believe it'll be corrected next time. Like I'm a person
Mm-hmm.
of experience. I just need to experience once or twice.
But you're also human too. You're not gonna get just everything perfectly all the time.
And
Like
that's true.
even the richest people or even the most intelligent people mess up.
but
every now and again.
we don't get that grace. They claim, they put it on paper, they say it in these speeches, but that's not the reality. They're nonverbal and how they interact and how they're talking to other people and give other people's passes before they even give you a one pass, um, shows up and speaks more than what they could ever tell me to my face. So, I learned, like, yeah, I give myself grace before them, but also know, like, I try not to add to it. And in a sense, it may seem like you're walking on eggshells, but also I'm grateful for the trial because it's helped me to be confident, or to, because that's difficult. Now with family, I mean, you could go the professional or the right route or try to be the bigger person, but it's not mandatory. Like, there's not a very, to me, I don't feel like there's like a personal, like a big effect from it or a
Hmm.
reaction, especially with people that you could care less if y'all spoke every day. Like, you know what I mean? But with work,
Yeah.
it's something where, especially if I enjoy it or this is my workplace, like, and my money that I, come up to, because I see working as a transaction, it's a business transaction. That changed how I handle things a lot better. It's like, because there have been times where I just show up, and people just kept overlooking me, and I got tired of it. I got frustrated. Then you got the not so nice version of me. Then my work ethic was affected. I learned this is a business transaction. You sit here and you heard me through an interview when I applied. You said that you will pay me a certain amount of money to execute this job. That is a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I work for your company. Yes, I work with you. But please know, no job pays me enough to be disrespected. And I let that
At
be
all.
known from
Like,
the very beginning. And
you
they don't
can't
like
pay
that.
me enough for you to disrespect me or feel like that you can disrespect me because you're in a higher position.
I don't care if you're the manager,
You could
CEO. Of course, I'll dress it up and be more respectful, but I will respectfully tell you, you don't pay me enough to be to disrespect me. Nor are you better than
I'm
me,
gonna tell
nor
you
am I
to
better
watch
than
your
you.
mouth.
And I'll tell them
And
in the
then you
quickness,
do whatever you need to do after that.
politely. I ain't got to curse. I ain't even got to raise my voice. And baby, that took some time. Thank you to my family, because
Growth.
y'all really helped me to, when you're talking through your teeth. I can talk through my teeth professionally, calm, collective. And I don't do a lot of facial expressions, but my stare tells you everything you need to know. I will stare you down like as if I know you myself, better than you know yourself. And if you're intimidated about that, I don't know what to tell you. I was just looking at her. What are you intimidated about me looking at you for?
Right.
Is something wrong? Is
You
there something
guilty?
deeper there you want to talk about? Is that guilt?
Hmm?
Mm.
I
Like
can't
recently,
hear.
like I had to walk away, and I was irritated. I was mad. I think I even said it on here, like kind of what happened, but I had to take my moment, walk away, and realize it's not that deep, and keep it pushing because I know how I can get, and that's all the confidence I need. I ain't got to show nobody. I don't have to give you what you want because I know I can take it there times 10 and shut this whole place down. So I tell people, for your safety and for mine, it would be your best bet to act accordingly and respectfully because you do not pay me enough to be speaking to me like that.
Right.
And if you can't put it on paper exactly what I've done is just, how you personally feel, well, everyone's entitled to an opinion.
I mean, you have to nowadays you have to demand your respect, or else people just gonna just
They
feel
walk
like they
over
can
you.
do and say and talk to you however, like,
That's why every situation
which
is
is
that deep.
so crazy to me. Like, why you wouldn't do that anyway naturally? Like, you have to put your foot down, or you have to, aggressively come to people and let them know, like, you're not playing. Like, what?
And though some workplace, if they don't allow that or they got a problem with you speaking up for yourself, obviously that's not the workplace for you. And that's what
Exactly.
I realized too. Not every workplace is for me.
It's not.
They might take it. They might have been here 30 years and took it and took it and took it, but not I.
Right.
God gonna provide for me
Oh, I
every
just
time.
need this. No, I don't need shit. No, I don't need
Nope.
nothing. You know what? I feel like the less I've had, the more I've been through, it made me be able to um handle or take or figure things out. Um, so, for instance, like I guess you could use the word humble. It humbles you. Like when you I in my high school years, I was in a shelter. Like we went from like I just know my mom going from like 2, 3 jobs to us going to a shelter. That's it. I don't remember no in between nothing or whatever. And I feel like we was in there for about a good 6 months. And that humbled me more than ever, more than anything ever that I've dealt with or that I've experienced thus far from when that happened. It just puts you in a position to where it makes you see things differently. It makes you be able to handle certain things and to take certain things. So for me, when I say no job is worth any of that, I mean that. I've had way less. I've done way less. I've been at lower spots, like and look where I am. So I'm capable. I'll figure it out. It may be hard. It may be frustrating. It may be aggravating. I may be mad about it. I may cuss a little bit for some days, but guess what? I'm gonna have to regroup, and I'm gonna have to figure that stuff out. So so basically, I guess it is it humbles you or whatever, and um it makes you have that um what am I trying to say? It makes you have it makes it okay, and it certifies your saying you're not taking disrespect. You're not taking this um difference of uh treatments or whatever it is. Like it puts you into a spot to know like whatever the outcome is going to be because you're standing on what you believe is going to work out or is going to be okay because you've had less than where you are right now. And I feel like sometimes that's why people try to hold things over your head because they feel like they could take things from you and that you're not going to prosper, you're not going to be where you need to be or you're not going to get what you need to have because they don't believe in you or they don't see that you can do it. But that's why
That's
you
the
have to
one.
know yourself and you have to be embedded in yourself and you have to know what you're capable of and you have to work at that stuff and mean that because should nobody be in a position to where they could feel like if they take something from you then that's all there's nothing left of you. No, you got me twisted. I don't care how far you take me down, I'm coming back up no matter what.
Ultimate feeling. Cause what? That's
Don't let
mm,
nobody feel like they could take something from you or they could put you in a lower position. And sometimes people get off on that. Sometimes people laugh and find joy in that. In you being in low spots and you not knowing things and you and not having stuff. Like
mm-hmm.
that's when those evil thoughts come in at. That's where those that's why I have to control. And then I
Mm-hmm.
get into my show me state. All right.
Yeah. Don't believe
Don't
me,
believe
just
me,
watch.
then watch.
Hey, don't believe it. Just yeah, period. So, moving right along, verbal communication. And I'm going to go ahead and read nonverbal communication too, just because we've pretty much did a deep nosedive into nonverbal. So, nonverbal communication is the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic cues we use to communicate without words, such as facial expressions, eye contact, gestures, posture, touch, and space. Verbal communication is the words and sounds that we use when we speak, including tone of voice, sighs, and groans. I think these is the things that would get us cussed out, popped outside the head, and everything else as kids. Did you just smack your lips? Did you just roll your eye? Did you just? You better watch how you talking to me.
But we know why
Uh
we
huh.
was doing that though. Stop that. We know why we know why we was doing that.
I didn't say it was right or wrong. I'm just saying.
Well, they knew. That's why we got popped. Why we got in trouble.
Facts.
But yeah, but once again though, that I feel like the nonverbal I excel at, and the verbal, I mean, I try. Um I'm not gonna say I'm good at it. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at it. I've often been told my communication sucks, or I don't have any communication skills, or I just feel like maybe it's just some departments of some sections of the communication, not all, but that's fine. I'll eat it up. I'll eat that. Because I will say though, once again, if it one I don't like to um I'm not going to agree to anything I don't feel like I need to agree to. I'm not going to talk about anything that I feel like I don't want to. I'm not going to it is just I don't know. I just feel like my simplicity is really like complicated and difficult, and I don't know why, but I just feel like most things or some stuff is just so simple, or just so just let stuff be how stuff is. Let stuff come natural. Let stuff be natural. I feel like nowadays we force stuff too much. We force it. Like, just let stuff happen naturally. Let things be how they be. What good is it in it for you, for something to be forcefully given or forcefully done or forcefully whatever? What kind of satisfaction is that? What kind of satisfaction are you getting from that? From you forcing something, or from you demanding, or why can't we just let stuff happen natural? We be in a room, we all three of us right now, we in a room, let's say we didn't even know each other, whatever. If a conversation sparks, it sparks because it was probably meant to. It was probably, but I wouldn't get, if I didn't know y'all, we just sitting in the room, whatever. One of y'all said something like some minor, and I felt, or I knew that that was like some small talk, I wouldn't engage in no conversation with y'all. What? What are you just in my head? Oh, she just want to talk, or she just want to whatever. Like,
What's an
it
example?
could be meaningful. I want you to. I want it to mean something. Wanted to. I just feel like it's so much stuff going on to where we need to have conversations about and dialogues and stuff about, to try to figure stuff out, than for you to just come talking to me about some.
I got you. So, scenario. If we all sit in there and I say, it's a it's a lovely day outside, isn't it?
I'm gonna look at you like I'm looking,
Right.
and then turn around or do something else.
Right. But if I say, "Ooh, I like your hair. I needs to get mine done. Where did you get it?"
And then I answer you
Right. Yeah, you know.
something. I mean, you could just, but you could just tell though. You could just tell, and and I can't tell you how you could just
You
tell
can just
though.
tell, yeah.
Just how you could. I don't know how. I don't know what it is, but you could just tell though. You could tell the difference between somebody who genuinely want to know something and speaking because they actually want to know something or they actually want to have dialogue with you than the ones who just try to come up with something just to feel the air. Don't just want to feel the air with me. I don't want you to just feel the air. I want to feel, oh God, I don't even like the cold. I don't even like the air.
But what if they uncomfortable?
That's not my
And
fault.
that will
I'm
help them.
uncomfortable too. You gonna solve me being uncomfortable? No. Figure your stuff out. I'm figuring them out. You figure your stuff out. What they got to do with me? You uncomfortable. So why do I have to? No, no. I'm sorry. No. Everybody for themselves, right?
I
No,
mean, sound like it. No, I'm just playing. Yeah.
no. I
But I
mean,
feel
you're
like people
uncomfortable
should
for what
also
though?
know how to read a room.
You're uncomfortable for what though? Right. Next. Cause you would already know. You would already said what it was if you knew. If it was something. You would have said it immediately instead of having to think about it. Like what? You're just trying to think of something. No. Shut
I'm just
up.
saying, well, I was just trying to
Read
advocate
the
for the person
dictionary
that
or
tried to
something.
talk to
Find a
you.
word of the day and use it in a sentence. Build your
Okay, so if I,
vocabulary.
but what if I find that word and use it in a sentence to talk to you? Just saying. Ah! Okay, which brings us right into active listening.
Wait, Pimp didn't talk on the
Oh,
nonverbal.
sorry, pimp.
Oh no, you're good.
I
I think
mean,
I went over
pink
mine.
sweetheart.
I'm working on both. It depends on definitely depends on the situation, the person, how where I'm at mentally.
Fact.
Um,
That's
but
good.
it definitely is something that always in work. Um, I don't think that's something that you can just truly perfect because there's so many different people and personalities. It changes based off the person or the
It's a
personality that
daily,
you're dealing
yep.
with.
It's something you work on daily.
Yeah. So
It's a never ending
and once I
job.
realized, I was like, okay, I got to keep working at it because I thought it was like oh, I know a few personalities and I'm good. Like, but you never know who you'll come in contact with, and people might have personal personalities, multiple personalities, and you got to deal with all of them.
You
Yeah.
know what, too? Speaking of that, that's also why I like to. Now, I'm not really deep in it, but I just read everybody's signs and all the astrology stuff that comes with it. That's another reason why, on top of me just having some of all the signs in me, because I am the ending. Like I just like to know what I'm coming in contact with. I just like to know what I could potentially be surrounded by, or how I have to think or how I should move or any of that. Not saying that you stepping outside of yourself, you doing something that you would normally do. However, it is a thing of you being conscious of the next person or of who they are and how they are, because you will want somebody to do the same thing, right? Don't step out of bounds, or don't just be inconsiderate about other people and how they are and all that. So I feel like that's why I'm always asking people's signs and all that stuff too, because I read up on that. Not to say that everything be true or whatever, but if you read up on that stuff and you pay attention to people, most of it, 9 times out of 10, will be spot on. You just have to want to do it. You just have to want to invest in it, want to invest in getting to know how people are and how they think and 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 like likes and dislikes and all kinds of little bitty things. But I feel like that's how we would be able to um that's how we would be able to survive and be okay with others around us in spaces, like, and we won't be annoyed so quick. We won't think negatively all the time initially so much, because we will already know some things, we'll already be cognizant of stuff. But I just feel like it's because of the unknowing that and the fact of, even me sometimes I get caught up in, and sometimes initially, like, if I have a conversation with somebody and they're thinking or train of thoughts or whatever, it's not aligning with mine. I sometimes quickly, like, before even thinking about it, whatever, be like, but then I have to snap up out of that. Like, that's me. That's not them. They're actually telling you, and I feel like we don't listen to what people saying. We don't listen and um take what they're saying as what something is, but people really do tell you who they are. People really do show you, even if they don't want to show you. People cues and their body language, all that tells everything you need to know. Even if somebody don't want you to know something, I promise you, 100% of the time, if you pay attention to them, even if you're not listening to them, but if you pay attention to them, they're gonna tell you what it is that you need to know.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, active listening. It is paying close attention to what others are saying and understanding their perspectives. This involves being fully present in the conversation and showing empathy. Do we feel we are active listeners, or are we listening to have a response?
I would say I'm an active listener. It didn't start that way, but I think I developed into that. Because once I learned, like, if I want to be heard, I need to listen to other people, whether I want to or not. So I've
Mm.
learned to give people what I want to receive, and listening to them, actively listening to them, which means, making eye contact. But sometimes if you active listen, some people get uncomfortable. Like, some people don't like eye contact, and things like that. But I've learned, like, okay, I got to do those nonverbal communications to let them know, like, okay, I'm listening, I'm intaking what you're saying, and try not to do it too much, to where they feel like I'm not really listening or I'm making fun of them, because you can overly actively listen with nonverbal communication skills, like uh-huh, uh-huh, like, even the things you say, how often you say it, your body language, if you're doing like an eye roll, or if you're not, like, even really trying to hear them, if you're doing things at the same time. And with my current job, like, I talk to people, I have appointments and things like that, so that's helped me to do it professionally and personally, um, because I don't like not being listened to, especially when it's something that, I think anytime I speak, I feel like it should be heard in a sense, or I
Facts.
don't speak at all, you know? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, if you're going to talk, I'll listen, but also don't be on the other stuff, because there will come a point in time, if you're just saying stuff, you just talking at the side of your neck. Yeah, hold on. Let me stop you right there. because especially if you're not staying on topic, if you're running in circles, like, and some people don't know like how to effectively communicate, and I pick up on those things and I try to encourage them or teach them along the way, even if it's like a conversation that I wouldn't care to have.
Oh.
So I would say I'm an active listener. Of course, it can always get better, but yeah.
I think for the most part I can be an active listener, but most of my communication I feel like comes with my family, and I very much so can't just I think I listen to have a rebuttal to whatever it is that they're trying to gaslight me with. I do think I've gotten better a little bit. Yeah, yeah. The last situation, I think I did better until I hit my limit, and I didn't get like disrespectful or nothing like I really felt like and wanted to, but the conversation just had to be next. So, but I think I'm very much so an empathetic person, sympathetic. I think there's only one person that I just don't have that for. So, and don't worry, guys. I asked my therapist about it. It's fine. Cause I thought like something was really wrong with me for real. Because there, it's not there, and I'm not used to that. So, um, I don't know, but yeah, I think I would say that I am. I'm not the best, but yeah, I would say so.
I would say I feel like I'm a good listener. Um, but I feel like in certain situations, I do feel like I listen to respond just to give a response. Um, I kind of feel like in those moments when I feel like I'm just listening to give a response, I probably shouldn't even be even indulging in whatever that is or whoever that is, because I mean, you shouldn't just be listening just to say something quickly or swiftly. Like, you should be actively listening. You should be taking in everything that's being said and understand it from a different point of view and all that. Um, but and that's only, I think, but I feel like that comes from maybe some type of trauma a little bit, because just like Orange Spark was saying, that if you're constantly like, if you're constantly mocked about something or told something, or someone's trying to get you to believe something so badly that they want you to believe about yourself, maybe, or them or something, it don't matter what it is, but they will they will try to say whatever or put it however they want to. And in those moments, for me, I block out everything until I hear you stop talking. Because in my head, no, I really do. Because
That's
I'm like, okay, they nuts. Let me, and I just start talking in my head while they talking
mm-hmm.
until they're done. And nobody got time for that. Like, especially if you know, like, especially if you're in a position to where somebody's trying to tell you something about you, or somebody's trying to make you agree to something, or believe something that they feel like you should believe or you should be listening to, or whatever, and you know for certain that either one, that's not you, two, you shouldn't be, whatever, like, first of all, once, like I initially said, I probably shouldn't even be around the whole thing. But the next thing would be to, yeah, for me, I would, all right, yeah, and I would block that, like, because you do have to be careful of what you what you intake. You have to be careful what seeps into you, because that could become you, no matter how bad you may not want it, no matter how bad you feel like, or how much you feel like you have a grasp on yourself, or or you're saying what you're not going to do, or who you're not going to be. But if you around those people that you don't want to be, if you're around the things that you're not trying to indulge in, guess what? After so long,
You will
it
conform.
becomes you. You will become that. You will do that. So, I don't know. But I really do feel like, um, and I do have empathy and sympathy and all that type of stuff too, because I feel for people. I really do. Like, it is really bad. It's
It's
really
really
bad. I just
bad.
feel for people. Like, I just don't be wanting people to be in, like, situations they shouldn't be in. And I don't know why I feel like I should be able to 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 help or control or manage or change things, and make it better. I just be want to make people's situations better. And when I can't do that, like, it brings me down. Like, um it really do bring me down. I really do be feeling some type of way when I can't help in a sense for something, or somebody, or something. Like, well, shit, what good am I? What why I can't, or why this happened, or why I couldn't, or I would just have a whole bunch of why I can't, or why I didn't, or, like, I don't know, I'm weird. But yeah, I never want to see people in bad positions. I never want to see people doing bad. I never want to see people struggle. Like, why would you look at the next person and see them struggle or in a bad spot or whatever, and not feel the whatever to want to help, even if you can't help. I'm not saying that you should, and it happens and you have to. I'm just saying, I don't understand, because I do. So I don't understand that feeling of not wanting to help, or not wanting to try and figure out a way of turning somebody's upside upright, or just whatever, or lending a hand or something. I can't fathom that. Just for me. I'm saying for me, because I'm the opposite way. Not for other people. I don't know how other people are. I can't speak for them or any of that. But for me, I just it just, and it bothers me for me to see people enjoy other people's
Misery.
misery, downfalls, heartaches, pain, suffering. That bothers me a lot. That, matter of fact, for me, that tells me what I need to know about you and your character.
Valid.
That's just for me though.
So some interpersonal skills include, you have to let me know if you feel like you possess some of these or want to. Um, but they are emotional intelligence, communication, reliability, leadership, positivity, negotiate negotiation, openness to feedback, and empathy.
Mm, um, I feel like I feel like most of it. Um, I feel like I'm reliable. Yeah. I feel like the leadership. I feel that. I could see it. I mean, I'm not bossy, but I feel like I have leadership skills. I like to take the initiative with things. I see things and I plan for them and I goal set so I can I can allow others to follow or take steps along and stuff. I feel like I try to live positively. I try to see things positive. I try to be in a positive aspect when I'm looking at things or when I'm trying to consider stuff or whatever. I feel like I do that most of the time. Negotiation. I don't feel like I'm too good at negotiating because listen, once something is whatever. I used to work at what's that phone company in Wichita that was over there on 32nd Street. Um
Cricket.
no, over there by right
Horizon,
before you get to the Social Security building. That one big old building over there. It was a
AT&T.
401 operator place, but before that it was a call center. It was a phone company. Anyway, whatever the phone company was, I worked there. It's a shame I don't even know what it was. I was in high school and they would give us all these scripts and all this stuff that we would have to say and we'll have to talk, communicate and blah blah blah. Listen, once you told me no, all right, I'm not debating and going back and forth with you. You said, because listen, if I tell you whatever I tell you, that's what it is. You ain't gonna change my mind. I don't care what you telling me. I don't care how you spicing it up, sprucing it up. It's
Hmm.
what it is. So I don't. I actually, you know what? And it's funny because I actually bought a book. I ordered a book from Amazon over negotiation because it was just something I feel like that I needed to read up on because maybe I wasn't seeing what that meant for what it is. So now I'm trying to I'm working on that part. I'm working on the negotiation part. But openness to feedback, yes. Like I don't get mad at people for if they're constructively telling me something. I'm open to that. Like, okay, cuz one, I'm not going to get everything right. I'm not going to do everything right. I I I I I agree to that. I take ownership, full whatever of that. I know that. So yes, we do have to be open to feedback. But that's an open door too, though, because some feedback is not all good, or some is just, I don't know. But anyway, yes, I feel like I'm open to that. And empathy, yes, I feel like, shoot, that could be my middle name. Um, so yeah, most of them, I would say without a shot of a doubt. Some working on currently, some, yeah, it is what it is.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
oh, you gonna go?
oh, you can go.
I would say I don't know. I feel like I'm not. I'm working on trying to be consistent. With it, despite the conversation or the person. Um, Again, it depends where I'm at mentally and how my feelings towards the situation reflects how I show up. So that's definitely something I'm working on to try to be consistent because if you have different moods or your mental is day to day um changes day to day, it can cause some up and down, and it can cause people to not be able to really understand you or feel like you're confusing or this and that. So I don't know, I can't sit here and say that I am all these things at the same time. I used to think I was in leadership. At least I would think I can say that. But I've been realizing like there's some situations that I've been trying to take the lead on to open up the dialogue for the conversation, but I can't find myself to quite do it, despite the many opportunities that there are. So, with
Mm.
that, I'd be a hypocrite to say like, I am, but recently there's been some situations with a couple people that has been kind of bothering me, but I haven't been making the initiation to go ahead and get it done and get it out the way so I don't have to keep having this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard when things keep happening um, for you to really have that conversation, especially when they don't truly understand the angle that you're coming from. And it's crazy because people can go through similar things like you, but don't understand it when it happens to you.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been struggling with. I don't want to go in and make it worse. So I'm like praying about it, thinking on it, like really trying to figure out like how am I going to approach this? What angle am I approach it at? Do I just do it and, God will provide me with the words to say it? Like there's so
Mhm.
many things. Um, so yeah, I say mine is definitely not consistent all around with every situation, but there's definitely some work to be done.
Okay. Um, I think emotional intelligence. I feel like I might have a little bit of it of emotional intelligence, but I feel like I definitely don't tap into it. Like I feel like I know and I just don't care to use it. I feel like I have a little bit though that I could tap into and I do tap into when I choose. So I definitely need some improvement there. Communication, I think I've gotten a lot better. I'm still not the best communicator, but I'm not the worst either. Um, Reliability, I think I'm the most reliable. Okay. I really do. I feel like I'm reliable. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. It's rare that I have to like say, "Oh, let's go do this," and then I have to cancel. Like if I have no intentions on doing it, I'm just not gonna say nothing. Like I hate the feeling of like canceling and not following through. So I feel like I'm very reliable, especially when people are in need. I feel like I'm a good source of reliability. Leadership, I feel like I have some. I feel like it's not always the best though. And I think that's more personal and it may not be like other people's observation, but for me I just feel like I don't know enough and there are things I want to know but I don't care to go and seek out and find out. So like I feel like to a degree I'm like yeah, professional this that, but also there's a degree in me that is well shoot, let them know. And it's not such a great influence. But I think overall, though, I do have some qualities that could be really great for leadership. And I don't know. I definitely a work in progress. Positivity. I don't think I'm the most positive person for real. Now, I don't think that that's so known to the world and others. My close people, yes, I feel like they know. But like the world in general, like I feel like they probably think I'm pretty positive. I'm not. I'm dead ass not. Like I mean I have my moments, but no. Anywho, negotiation. I feel like there's certain things that I stand on and I'm unwavering. But then there's things where I could like, okay, like if I hear your side, I can be like, all right, I could see that. I might have to ponder on it for a little bit, but then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. But then if it don't work, I'm going right back to, cause yeah, um, openness to feedback. I think I am open to feedback. I actually prefer it. I think I just have to work on my filter that I filter people's feedback through because where people have good intentions in their feedback, I tend to see it through a negative lens and not like receiving it from them in a negative way. Like I know they're not trying to harm me or anything like that, but I think because of my negative experiences with this growing up, I feel like there's ulterior motives and that it's telling me bad things or reassuring the bad things that I thought about myself or that I've heard from growing up. So it's not necessarily with that person or whoever's trying to give me the correct the um what is it? Something criticism. Constructive criticism. There you go. I think it's me getting my mind right for the filter that it comes through. Um, I think that's the only part I struggle with that. And empathy. Again, I have empathy. I think I have more than enough empathy. Except for one person, and I feel like a lot of things just really hurt me to my heart and core. Like things make me sad that shouldn't. Like there are people who enjoy sitting alone and by themselves, and it breaks my heart and I'll be ready to cry. Like I be feeling so bad for them and they be living their best lives and I don't know how to separate the two. I'm just on the verge of tears and feeling so bad, want to go sit with them and just ask them, "Are you okay?" Like I don't know. Like I'm that. Um if I see a homeless person and I do know how to tell the difference between somebody that's out there trying to make some money and actually homeless and that breaks my heart too. Cause I think I'm like, how when you think about I think about the fact like you see this homeless person and it's like that was somebody's child. That was somebody's baby. Somebody was pregnant with them. They were a child and then they grew up and what happened? Like how I don't think anybody ever is born and just plans to be homeless. Like I don't think that that's something that people envision for themselves and just the fact that they're there and living that life just hurts me to my core. So, I think I'm overly empathetic, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but I just think sometimes people don't be understanding. Because I was genuinely shocked. Like, oh, okay, so here this connection, right, that we talked about earlier that I don't be putting together. Bay took me to a concert in Kansas City. We went to the Miguel concert, and we went to the Cheesecake Factory before. And we get there, we were early, we had to wait in line for the longest, whatever. And she brought her cheesecake with her. And she was like, I'm done with this. They're not gonna let us take it anyway. So she went and threw it in the trash. Now, y'all growing up, like in the movies, you would see like homeless people eating out the trash or doing whatever. Like that's what homeless people do, you know? So Bay threw this in the trash, and I mean seconds. Within seconds, this homeless man went over, pulled it out, and started eating it. And I was taken aback. I was so in shock. I'm like, "Woo." But again, in the TVs, movies, whatever, they tell you that homeless people will pull whatever food out of the trash, and that's their meal for the day. But until I saw this with my eyes, I was devastated. I could not believe. I can't imagine digging into a trash can and eating some food that somebody else's hands, mouth, whatever has been in. And the fact that it's been in a dirty trash can is just, I can't imagine. So to see that that's a real thing and that there's like thousands of people doing this is just heartbreaking. So, anyway, just another example of those many connections that I don't be making that people are like, duh. Because I said that and they were like, yeah, homeless people do that. And I'm like, I know that's what they say on TV, but I really didn't know that, like, yeah. Anywho. So, I would say all of them are a work in progress for sure, but I feel like there are a few that I have really great qualities and progress in. So, lastly, the purpose of interpersonal communication is to improve your personal and professional relationships by helping you to express your thoughts and convey your intent clearly. Do we think that this purpose is important? And I would say yes, because I feel like that takes out the confusion and the I'm trying to hurt you perception, and just kind of gives everybody this calm and equal level of we're human, how can we get to this resolution? So I would say it's very important for your friendships, it's very important for your work environment, to keep it cool, calm, and collective. I think it's important for parental and child, any type of relationship. I think that it is very important and that everyone who has to interact with people should have a level of interpersonal communication skills.
Definitely agree. Hit it on the hammer. And I do feel like it has to be practiced and able to like keep up with it. Because I know it's easy to like avoid it and be like, oh, I don't talk to people like that or in that way, or I don't need it. It won't show up. But definitely have to keep working at it, because I think you can go backwards if you don't do it actively. And know that once it show up in one area or one relationship, it can be done in other ways. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like start with what you're more well, I wouldn't say most comfortable with, if that's the type of person. If you're like, let me start with the easy one or what I'm most comfortable with. Some just want to dive, head in and learn from experience. But it's definitely something that's needed, and I think it's like a sense of responsibility for yourself to be able to work at it and know that it's something that's needed, even if you weren't taught it growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I second all that. I don't have anything else to add to it. Y'all hit it on the nail.
Millie Rock on every block.
Mm.
Okay, period. Well, um, I think that wraps up our intrapersonal and interpersonal communication. I hope that everyone gained something from this conversation and our previous video. Please be intentional about your communication skills. It is very important and it's a vital life skill to have. You will find that your relationships improve, um, your the way you feel about yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you think, all of these things will be positively impacted. And it's not to say that it's easy, but it's definitely worth doing the work. You will be better for it, and you will also be better for the people around you who are doing the interactions with you. And you will be able to have a sense of pride in knowing that you are making good efforts. And that says a lot about your character. So, without further ado, thank you all for tuning in to Sisterly Sparks.
Until next time.
Appreciate y'all.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.